Hello and welcome to another episode of EPLW. I'm Joe. Subscribe to this channel to make sure you never miss a live stream again. On this week's show, we look back at Monday night's games between West Ham and Sheffield United and Chelsea and Newcastle. We also look at tonight's games, including the one that is about to finish as Man City visited Everton and Burnley Fulham earlier as well. We've got a few little fantasy Premier League tips, although there's not going to be many to talk about because we're only covering the 4 games, but with Roz. And I want you to start thinking of players with places and locations in their names. That's going to be our 11 to finish the show. And if you're watching and you've got any suggestions, comment in the live chat. And also, as always, tweet us at EPLW Pod. Alongside me today, I've got Mus and Roz. How are we doing, chaps? Mus, do you want to introduce yourself and tell our viewers something you're looking forward to talking about on tonight's show?
Yeah, evening all. Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thanks, Joe. My name's Mus. I'm a Arsenal season ticket holder. Well, I'm firstly really looking forward to hearing what Roz comes out with in this first ever post-watershed recording of EPLW. But that aside, I'm really looking forward to talking about West Ham and feeling vindicated.
Ah, interesting. Okay, and alongside us tonight, we've got Charlie Rosden. How's, of course, Roz, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. I'm Roz, Millwall season ticket holder, and yeah, looking forward to talking about the race of the top 4, really. Chelsea, West Ham, they both had wins there, so it's heating up.
Okay, well, let's get straight into it then. Everton, Man City. Roz, you're keeping an eye on this one for us at the moment, aren't you?
I am indeed.
Do you want to just talk us through the game so far or how it's looking at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's the 89th minute, just about to finish. 3-1 Man City. 3 well-worked goals. First 2 really, really good finishes. First goal was from Foden, took a slight deflection. Second goal, an absolute screamer. Goal of the month contender from Riyad Mahrez.
Absolute beauty.
And the third was Bernardo Silva. It was really well worked on the outside of the Everton box. And he smacked it in.
Yeah.
So, goal and looking like I predicted, like Man City just have a bit too much for Everton on the day. Yeah.
Yeah, good stats for Bernardo Silva as well. Good for the fantasy. Goal and an assist tonight. And something I wanted to talk about tonight, actually, Mus. Ancelotti seemed to start off with 4 centre-backs in defence, and then he had Luca Dean pushed into left midfield in a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1. Are we going to see more of that against City these days? Because City play with such a high, wide, dense front line. You know, they almost have 5 in their front line interchanging. Do you need to play 5 defenders to have a chance?
I mean, it probably helps, to be honest. The way they play with that fluid front line. I mean, today they did have Gabriel Jesus on the pitch, but when they play with that false 9 fluid formation, it's really difficult for defenders to know who to pick up. You don't really have a reference point, and so I guess that was probably what Ancelotti was thinking by trying to stack his defence with centre backs, and then free up Luca Dean to have more of an attacking threat, and it worked quite well for the first hour, I suppose. And I was starting to think, oh, City are missing Gundogan, and Jesus isn't offering that much. And then Mahrez just pops up with that goal, and next thing you know, De Bruyne is coming off the bench, and it just looks really.
I mean, that's something I wanted to. That's something I wanted to say. Actually, you're 3-1 down at home, right? You're Everton. You're 3-1 down to Man City at home. They're running you all over the park. It's about the 78th minute, and you look over to the manager's sort of dugouts, and who do you see warming up? Kevin De Bruyne. What does that do to a player mentally? Like, are you just giving up at that point, Mus?
Yeah, I mean, I think Everton were already starting to look a bit leggy, and they weren't seeing much of the ball, and Man City were really managing the later stage of the game. And then you see De Bruyne coming on, and you just think, right, I'm not going to get a kick for the last
he almost got an assist.
12 minutes.
He almost got an assist as soon as he came on as well. And another player I wanted to talk about, Roz, João Cancelo. Like, it blows my mind. Pep's tactics are unreal. He lines up with a back 4. But then Cancelo kind of tucks into centre mid alongside Rodri. So they've got a 3 and a 2. And then they've got this mad front line. How does Cancelo do that?
It's crazy, isn't it? He sort of he was doing it a bit last season with these sort of false fullbacks or sort of inverted fullbacks where they sort of press into the pitch and become the holding midfielders, if you like, allows him in, I guess, sort of 4-2-3-1 to push your 8 and your 4 into those attacking positions. But I mean, it's one thing to kind of fit all of these quality players into a squad. It's rotation. The fact that Cancelo's come in as probably their 6th or 7th sort of 30 million plus fullback, and he's keeping Kyle Walker on the bench for a lot of the big games.
Yeah,
I think he's done absolutely sensational. I'd also like to say that I think from now on we have to refer to Kevin De Bruyne as the Belgian Emil Smith-Rowe.
the Belgian Smith Rowe. Yeah, Cancelo actually playing in at left back today, wasn't he? So he had Walker on the right, making those insane runs down the right, overlapping Mahrez and stuff. And then, Cancelo just tucking in with Rodri. And Cancelo had a couple of shots on goal from long distance. It's like he's coming through from deep. They're not actually picking him up. It's an interesting one. So watch out for that one. And ordinarily, he's great for fantasy as well because of that attacking role that he has. But they did concede tonight, so not great. Okay. Remember, you are watching EPLW with Joe, Roz and Mus. And if you like what you see, like the video, subscribe to the channel and allow notifications so you never miss a beat. Let's talk about the earlier game then. Burnley-Fulham. It finished 1-1 at Turf Moor. Are Fulham doing enough to remain in the Premier League, Mus? Last 5 games, they've won 1 and drawn 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question because I think, unfortunately, I still don't think this will be enough. This sudden improvement in their performance, and they're getting results, but unfortunately far too many draws. This would have been an opportunity to close that gap between themselves and Newcastle to 4 points. They missed that, fortunately, and they're probably not getting the results they deserve that their performances deserve. I've been really impressed with the past couple of games. Really easy on the eye and brave in attack, but too many draws.
Yeah, fair dues. And I mean, you say it's maybe a missed opportunity to close the gap, but Burnley have been in quite good form, haven't they, Roz?
Excellent form. I think Sean Dyche's definitely sort of, he'll look at this as a sort of you don't lose the game kind of match. I think they're very much, because they had such a poor start, just sort of getting what they need out of games. They've had a few surprise results, 3-0 against Crystal Palace being the most recent. I think they'll be more than happy with the point here. Fulham, as I was saying a few episodes ago, about that race to the top 4, you need to be beating the teams that you're actually competing with. Otherwise, you're opening up a potential 6-point gap there. And Fulham need to be beating the teams like Brighton, the teams like Newcastle, and tonight I think they need to beat Fulham.
Go on, Mus.
I was just going to express my surprise on behalf of the viewers that Roz didn't give Sean Dyche his full name as he usually does. Sean Dyche, Millwall legend, trademark.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mus, I was actually, I missed this game because I was watching a Millwall game, and it was actually the worst game of football that I've seen this season. Not just Millwall games, like, regardless of level, just absolutely dire football. So I'm feeling pretty downbeat about Millwall right now. We got the win. Yeah, that's what we do. 3 points on the spin. 3 wins on the spin.
Not bad at all. Not bad. 3 points from each game, the last 3. Anyway, this is EPLW, English Premier League Weekly, and we're here to talk about the Premier League. Burnley Fulham 1-1. Remember, like and subscribe. Tweet EPLW pod. Okay, Chelsea Newcastle then, Monday night. To coin a phrase, Mus, is Thomas too cool for school?
Yeah, great phrase, Joe. I wonder where you got that from. Thomas is too cool for school. He's come in and done really well, turned Chelsea's fortunes around, tightened the defence. I think I'm right in saying they've only conceded 1 goal, or did they concede on Monday?
Yeah.
That's about right, yeah.
Yeah, they've only conceded 1 since he's come in. And in his interviews are actually really eye-opening because he just goes into such great detail on the tactics. So it was interesting to hear him on Monday Night Football just breaking down the reasoning. They asked him was it a case of a system first approach, or was he looking at the personnel and trying to make the most of what he had? And he said he was just trying to get experience on the field and then after that, experimenting a bit more. And he's using what he has very well. So yeah, I'd agree with Roz's opinion on the last episode that Chelsea probably are one of the favourites now to secure that final spot.
What's what is a good season for Chelsea, Roz? You know, are they looking at just top four? Are they looking at going for second? Are they, you know, can they put a run together? And if Man City slip up, you know, what are we looking at?
I think a good season will be fourth. Of course, it will be. With the sort of third place position, I mean, Liverpool aren't in great form. Man United have gone on about their obvious faults before. They're the informed team at the moment, and Tuchel's actually doing a really good job of getting the results together, but then also getting a really good look at his squad. He even managed to draft Kepa into the last game and still managed to pull off a result. So he's giving everyone a fair crack at the whip there, and they're all clearly playing for him. They're showing. I mean, Marcus Alonso is showing the form that he showed under Conte when he got into the PFA Team of the Season, if you remember, a few years ago. So yeah, he's doing a great job, as I predicted he would when I was going on about Frank Lampard and the players that he had, and the fact this is a team that should be getting these results.
Yeah, absolutely. Mus, do you look like you wanted to come back on something there? Go on.
Yeah, not to disagree. I completely agree, but I would just add as well that I think when Chelsea were drawn against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, I think most people probably didn't give them that much of a hope back then. Under Frank Lampard, got a team that's topping La Liga, experienced manager. But now I think Chelsea do stand a chance of progressing, and that would add to that what a good season looks like. It'll be securing top four and then making inroads into the late stages of the Champions League.
Yeah, and that's what I guess that's what Chelsea demands, and that's what Abramovich demands, and that's what Abramovich shall get, no doubt. Yeah, this is EPLW. Tweet us at EPLW Pod. Now we're going to talk about West Ham, Sheffield United. West Ham were in great shape. You know, we were looking at predictions for this one, Ros, weren't we? We thought it might be a little bit tighter, maybe, but we thought West Ham would get the win. But 3-0. The Lingard effect. Discuss. Has he made a difference?
It's funny. I think the talking point on Jesse Lingard after this game will be trying to grab the ball off of Declan Rice before the penalty. A lot of West Ham fans would hate that. They might not like that. I think it just shows his ego, his confidence, the fact that he clearly feels like he's been there for 2 minutes and should be taking the penalties, which can only be a good thing if you've got that confidence in your performances.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like Mark Noble's been taking penalties for West Ham for about 3 decades. So nice to see a different man from the spot. But yeah, West Ham sensational form. Jesse Lingard's come in and just made them better. They've got so many options there. So many attacking midfielders. They've got that rock solid base with Souček and Declan Rice. So David Moyes has built a really good side there.
And I understand the gravitas of you saying that, Ros. I know it's very hard for you as a Millwall fan to say such nice things about West Ham team. So fair play. You kept a lid on it there. You know, Mus, what has Lingard brought to... I know Ros touched on it there. What has Lingard brought to West Ham?
I think he's brought a bit more directness and pace in the attack, which West Ham sorely miss whenever Antonio's out, and he's often out with injury. And they look really dangerous on the break, and that was how they got their first penalty with kind of Lingard amongst the runners, I think from a Sheffield United corner. But you said there, Joe, that West Ham were in great shape, but I was watching the team yesterday and I thought, is there a more carb-loady team in the Premier League than West Ham? Obviously, you've got Declan Rice, but you've also got Thomas Souček, you've got Manuel Lanzagna, and of course, Saeed Ben Rahman.
Oh, my God. Mus, you pulling it out every time. You lull us into a full sense of security, like, Mus hasn't got a pun this week, and then he just pops one out. Like...
Quite, I was thinking sort of, yeah, Antonio's a bit on the chubby side. Where'd he go? It's Mus doing a pun.
Oh, brilliant. But, I mean, overall a team performance from West Ham, Mus?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've looked great this year, and you laughed at me, Joe, when I said that that my big shout of West Ham finishing in the top four. It's still on the cards. I mean, it's an outside chance, but they are playing really well.
Is that what you're saying? You're maintaining that?
I'm sticking to my guns. I mean, they've got Man City coming up in I think the week after next. So let's reevaluate after that.
Yeah, they'll be
I've
humbled.
actually got West Ham's next fixtures here because I'm professional and I make notes. Yeah. So West Ham's chances for top four. Their next 5 games: Spurs, that'll be easy, 3 points probably. But then Man City, Leeds, Man United, and Arsenal in their next 5.
Wow, some of your favourite teams.
You've got 4 huge sides there, and you've also got Leeds. I mean, let's see if they're still in that top 4 conversation. I mean, yeah, they could be. I think they'll give all those teams a game.
It's not like they've got concerns of like fixture pile-ups playing in Europe, like all of the rest of the teams going into that battle. So that maybe sets them apart a bit in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay. You're watching EPLW. I'm Joe. This is Roz. This is Mus. And you can tweet us at EPLW Pod. You can get in the comments and say hello on this live stream. We've got a comment from Tim in the live stream comments. Tim says, "My internet died. Sorry, I'm late. Lingard is going to do well at West Ham." So if you want to roast Tim, he is listening. If you want to, dig out Man United or anything like that, now's your chance.
I was thinking he was running like the typical Man United, leaving it late.
Well, I think the internet thing is just a cover for the hurt emotions following Roz and Joe tearing into Man United on Sunday.
Oh yeah. Okay. Right. There you go. I'm going to read out the scores from this remaining game week. Then here's a classified check: West Ham 3, Sheffield United 0 from Monday night. Also Chelsea 2, Newcastle United 0. And then tonight's games: Burnley 1, Fulham 1, and Everton 1. Manchester City 3. Okay. Quickly then, Roz, who are the top performers in fantasy football this week?
So I was talking about a double game week a lot leading up into this one, and actually my 3 picks are all players that played, apart from 2 of the players only actually played 1 game. The first one is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who got a hat-trick, as I'm sure you'll all remember. Ilkay Gundogan he only played in the first game, managed to bag himself 19 points with 2 goals and an assist there. And lastly, we spoke about it briefly in the last episode, Matthew Loughton with that, Burnley playing like Brazil, and Matthew Loughton with that outstanding goal there. Got a clean sheet, played tonight as well, so he bagged himself 17 points.
Fair dues. Okay, we are going to move on to our 11s then. Before we do that, fantasy football. Roz and I will be doing a little fantasy football show on Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. So stick that in your diary, subscribe to the channel and allow notifications, and you'll be woken up by me and Roz looking $1 million in the morning, obviously. Okay, we're going to move on to our 11s now. And I reckon we should try and get Timmy in for this. If he's showed up.
Oi, oi.
What are you up to, mate?
Yeah, he looks like Davinson Sanchez when he got put on his arse for that first goal, flat on his face.
There he is. Oh, there we go.
Like having a fire in a night out in Greece.
Tim, glad you could make
Sorry
it.
about my signal going. No, it wasn't an excuse. I'm still here and proud to wear my shirt.
Yeah, okay, mate. We're just going to get into doing the 11s, actually, so thought this might be a good juncture to bring you in. So this week I asked you guys to come up with a Premier League all-time 11 of players who have place names and locations in their names. Okay, so we've all done one, all 4 of us. I'm going to show you mine first and talk you through it, and then we'll move on to Roz's. Okay, here we go. So here's mine to start with then. I've gone for Neville Southall in goal. I've got a back 3 of James Chester, Clark Carlisle and Gareth Southgate. I've gone for a sort of Spanish vibe, a sort of Hispanic vibe on my wing backs of Brian Oviedo and Antonio Valencia. And then I've got a central midfield three, Gareth Barry, Reece Oxford and Jack Cork. And then up front, I've gone for one half of SAS, Chris Sutton, and the man, the legend, stairs up to the bedrooms, Dion Dublin. What do you make of that, lads?
I thought this was a Premier League 11.
It is.
Who was your left back?
Brian Oviedo of
Everton.
Everton. Oh! I think you owe me a drink,
It's
Rob.
when you use all those like cultured words. I don't compute.
Just there in your Millwall
Jesus,
shirt
mate,
with
what a
your beer,
time.
having a go at me.
Did you? Did you?
Culture,
I reckon you
culture.
might have had a peek at mine, mate.
Okay, yeah, let's have a look at Roz's.
There's a few similar answers there.
Oh, hang on. I've got yours from last
no,
week.
No. You
Do you want to?
did read yours, but you stole a few of my answers there.
Right. Well, I've
We're going to have
actually.
a few the same, aren't we?
I'll tell you what. I've lost yours, Roz. I've got yours from last week in there for some reason. Your surname, first name. So maybe I owe you a
Oh,
point.
is that a shocker?
Hang on. Let me see if I can
that
quickly load
Like
it
stealing
up.
someone's science homework and signing your own name for it and handing it in.
Okay. Right.
It's literally just changing a couple of the words. Oh, put a few bad
Yeah.
words in there.
Change the name on the top.
Right.
Oh,
I have.
no.
I've got it sorted, lads. Here's Roz's team. Neville Southall in goal,
Here we go.
James Chester, Clark Carlisle and Reece Oxford centre-backs, Jack Cork, Gareth Barry and Matt Holland in centre-mid. Love that. Oh, this is quite legendary. Matty Derbyshire on the left. You've gone for a whole county. And Stephen Ireland, a whole country on the right. And then up front, you've gone Dubs and Suts, just like me. Stairs up to the bedrooms, Dion Dublin and one half of SAS, Chris Sutton. Okay, should we have a look at Mus's 11, lads?
But
Let's do it.
Okay, here's Mus's one. So he's got Neville Southall in goal, unsurprisingly. Justin Edinburgh, left back. Gareth Barry and Jack Cork at centre back. And Antonio Valencia at right back. At Stephen Ireland and Matty Holland, Fernando and Helder Costa in midfield. Up front, Dion Dublin and Dwight York. Great shout on York. Mus, can you explain Fernando and Helder Costa, please?
So Helder Costa, I'm contractually obligated to include.
And not again.
But I just figured, look, Costa del Sol. There are so many, Costas. It's like what the Spanish word for coast or something. So
Yeah,
that's got to count.
I don't
What
know.
was the other questionable one? Fernando. Well, any fan or viewer of ITV's dating show, help me out. What's it called? The one with the lights.
Blind date.
yeah,
Hit the button. No liking, no
Patrick
liking.
McGuinness.
That's the one, right?
Yeah.
So famously, the winners of that show get to go to the Isle of Fernando. So I thought, right, that must be a place. And I didn't want it to be
Made
too.
up
I think it's a Spanish island, and I just didn't want it to be too provincial. So I started to think,
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
aside from British counties, how far afield can I go?
Okay. Lastly, we're going to look at Timmy's 11. Tim, do you want to talk us through your one? Because
Can I explain it first? Because basically last week I felt a bit left out because I didn't get to do a team. Well, I didn't have time. So I thought that it was more like, would my team beat your team? So what I've gone for is 5 strong strikers, 4 defenders, and a keeper.
well,
Okay,
I mean,
interesting.
playing the
Sorry,
formation.
Those two statements didn't make sense. They don't align. Would my team beat your team? Yes, because I'm not going to play with a midfield.
Yeah, completely. It's like Sunday League. So I've got Dion Dublin up front with Dwight York, Alan Sunderland, Alan Cork, Sean Dundee, Chris Sutton. Okay? And then with defence, I've got Justin Edinburgh, Gareth Barry, Gareth Southgate, Jamie Clapham, and then in goal, between sticks, Kevin Poole.
I don't know if you guys, Ros and Mus, can see on the screen what we've got here, but I have done
I
a
can't,
visual.
no.
I've done a visual representation of this, and it is ridiculous. Yeah.
I
I can see
So
it on my screen.
yeah. So this is the only feasible way I could fit your 6 centre forwards in, Timmy. The goalkeeper, you've gone really old school with some of these players. I had to look and make sure they actually played in the Prem, like Alan Sunderland,
Alan
Sean Dundee.
Sunderland, scored a FA Cup goal for Arsenal, right?
Well,
He did
yeah,
break rocks
but
in their seat.
He was the guy with the necklace and the yellow kit. I seem to remember.
It was Roxon FC played for.
Uh,
I
mean,
I'll just.
I like. Go on.
No, I was just going to say you've clearly gone full Bielsa here. Your
Yeah.
formation looks like one of those average positions map. And it just looks like your forward lineup had a really attacking game.
It's the first wing, and the second wing is going to come after it.
love it.
Sorry, lads. I was thinking outside the box too much, didn't I?
I mean, well, you're
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
very
right,
much
right.
inside the box because you've got 6 players in the opposition's box and 5 players in yours.
Very good.
Anyone we missed out there? I mean, I missed a couple of howlers there. Dwight York. How did I miss that? But who gets in out of Dublin and Sutton? I think it's between those 3.
I'd say even though he played for Millwall, you'd have to leave Dion Dublin out, wouldn't you?
Oh,
That's
you
how
can't
Chris
leave
Sutton,
Dion
isn't it?
Dublin out. Isn't it?
Well, Chris Sutton won a Premier League. Dion Dublin didn't.
Yeah,
Dwight
but
York won a Premier League.
but it's
What?
Dion Dublin.
Apple probably. The stairs up to the bedroom. Okay, if we need anyone to do some interior design on the dressing room, then Dion Dublin's in.
Do you know what? He's actually hilarious on
quite
Homes
small.
Under the Hammer. He often makes a joke on Homes Under the Hammer. If he sees a cabinet that's empty, he'd be like, a bit like my trophy cabinet.
Classic Dion.
Legend. Timmy, were you going to say something there?
No. I was going to say Dion Dublin's quite short, isn't he? Him doing like the ceilings and the painting job wouldn't go down very well.
Oh dear.
Very
Okay.
true.
Right. Well, we've talked about Homes Under the Hammer and Dion Dublin for long enough. I think that's probably it. Is there anything else anyone wants to add? Any quick chats on risque political issues like before or anything like that? No, in that case, let's say goodbye. It's goodbye from Roz.
Yeah.
It's goodbye from Mus.
Goodbye.
And Tim's finally made it. Hello to Tim and goodbye, Tim.
Yeah. Hello. Goodbye. What shambles.
See you next time, chaps, for EPLW. Remember, like and subscribe if you've enjoyed what you've been watching and allow those notifications so you never miss a beat. We'll see you next time, peeps.